Hi crafters, it's Carolina again with another video tutorial, this time the Accordian Surprise Fancy Fold. Just showing you the previous ones that I had made. And we're going to be using the Artfully layered stamp set to create a third one. The next step is to cut your designer series paper. Now the overall measurement you need for the inside of the card is 14.5 centimeters by 28 centimeters. Now's a good time to take a screenshot of all of these measurements that you need. So you can always go back to that part and take the screenshot. The designer series paper comes in 12 by 12 inch measurements, and that's 30.5 centimeters. So I have left this piece that I'm using here at the 30.5 centimeters, which is why I say cut then at 28. So I've cut the height at 14.5, and then right at the end you'll see me cut a strip off. So take care when you're scoring on designer series paper. It is thinner, it is likely to rip if you go too heavy-handed. And following all of those measurements there, I'm going to score it all the way across, and then like I said, I'm going to cut that last piece at the 28 measurement mark. But don't throw it away because we're going to use it to decorate the front of the card. So you'll see that little strip on the front. Carefully fold along the score lines, and you can either grab yourself a bone folder or a block to burnish the fold lines, but again, just go really carefully, really slowly. You don't want to create a rip. That would not look good. And I've gone for a very plain design on the designer series paper. You'll see that the back is heavily patterned, and it's beautiful and perfect for a different type of card. But for this one, you want to use a very subtle design. There you go. I'm just showing you how to use the block as a bone folder. You'll end up with a piece that looks like this, an accordion. And I'm going to show you how to glue this to your card base. So you're going to just use a regular C6 card base. So you go, just a half a sheet of A4. And then we're going to use some layers as well. So these layers here, I've cut, again, take some screenshots. I think that's probably going to be the quickest way to be able to come back to the measurements. Probably should have held them up for a bit longer, sorry. But we're going to glue the panel in first, because really this is just the whole guts of the card, right? And then the rest is just decoration. So glue one side, and I find the green multi-purpose glue, it just gives you a bit of time, bit of wiggle room time I call it, to make sure that you've got your position and paper positioned in the right place. Fold it all up. Put glue on that other side, and then close your card. And this way you will always get a perfectly positioned card that opens and closes. That'd be the worst thing if you can't quite open it, or it doesn't close quite nicely. This piece here that I'm showing me gluing is what we call vellum. Vellum is a little bit like see-through paper, right? And there's a trick to getting it so that you don't see the glue. And you'll see what I did was I put the liquid glue on, and I used my finger to just make it rub it out a little bit to make it clear, and then stick it to your cardstock. If you stick it straight down, it's gonna you'll see the glue lines. Don't forget that piece that we cut off at the end. We're going to stick that on to the front, a little bit like a sash. And we're going to do a bit of stamping to decorate the inside panels, which I don't like to see them naked. They need to have some color and some decoration on there too. So again, I'm going to stamp off this image, do a little bit of stamping in the corners, and add some of the foliage to it too. And I'm using Bermuda Bay. Now I'm using Evening Evergreen, which is such a beautiful deep green color. And the last color is Calypso Coral. So I'm going to go really close to the edge with this stamp because it's such a big stamp. I want a little bit of that foliage there. You're going to glue that to the Bermuda Bay frames. I'm going a bit quickly here, but this is just the decoration and the gluing. You don't want to watch me glue. It's like watching paint dry. But so long as you've taken some screenshots of all of the measurements, I probably stuffed up a little bit, if I'm honest, on the measurements of those panels. I cut them the same height as the designer series paper. Typically I would cut them a bit smaller, so you can play around with it. Maybe don't glue anything until you know that it's going to look good. Can you see? It goes right to the edge, and that was not my intention. But it happens to the best of us, and we all make mistakes. But I'm cool with that. I don't think there are any mistakes in crafting. Just, opportunities to embellish. Glue, I've totally way behind on my commenting here. The die cuts that you see there are using all of the colours of the ink that I've used and all of the foliage pieces. I've gone ahead, I just arranged them in that centerpiece, glued some down this way, that way, some were cut in half. Again, leaving that decoration part up to you, because you've got the mechanism, which is the accordion part. That's really the main point of this, showing you this video. Cut some extra die cuts out, so you've got some for the front. And I'm going to use this really beautiful frayed ribbon. It's so pretty. And what I'm doing with the picker tool there is just fraying a bit of the edge. And I didn't anticipate that it would do this, but it created a bit of a curl on it. It looked a bit like a feather, which made me think of the Birds of Paradise plant, which, this designer series paper reminds me of. The best way to stick ribbon down is with glue dots, so a different type of glue. You can use the liquid glue, but glue dots have just got this amazingly high stickiness to them, which for fabrics or ribbons is just amazing. I've added another little die cut over the top, and I'm just deciding what colour I'm going to go with for the sentiment. Even though I didn't use this colour, which is Granny Green Apple, on the inside of the card, because there's a little bit of that bright green on the front, it just made the greeting stand out. So I'm going to go with that. I've embossed, and I'm going to show you some embossing here. I think I've shown you this before, but I'm going to white emboss the greeting, and then I'm just going to trim around it. The front of the card is quite bulky. This is not a plain and simple card. It's got many layers. It's got a bit of thickness to it. So I've used glue dots. I haven't raised the greeting any further. But I really thank you guys for watching another video. I hope you have enjoyed them. Give it a go. You don't have to embellish it as highly as I have, but sending all the hugs to each and every one of you. And thanks again. We'll see you soon. Bye.